Today, we're going to talk about a lot of things involved in the brain. But when you woke up this morning, you saw this beautiful sunrise. You woke up from a beautiful sleep, hopefully. Sleep is one of the most profound experiences we have. Our brains are more active in our sleep than we are during the afternoon in this session. So it's really important to go through a really good, healthy sleep where you get good REM sleep and you get good deep delta sleep. REM sleep is one of the most important sleeps that you're going to get because it actually rejuvenates your mind and increases your creativity, allows your hard drive to be set in stone where you can remember all your facts from the previous day, and sometimes you can forget some of the facts of the previous day as well. It's a kind of a recycle bin that your computer has. So sleep is so critical. I could spend the whole time talking about that. But we're going to go on to exercise and some other aspects of wellness, especially brain hygiene. Because the World Health Organization in their constitution says that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. And, interesting enough, positive mood is a prediction of health and longevity. So when we start talking about the brain and brain health, we talk about all these neural synapses. We have about 86 billion cells or neurons in the brain. And they have to communicate somewhere. And so you have about 1 quadrillion synapses that are constantly giving you feedback right now. And I was looking through this audience earlier and I was thinking, wow, what an incredible audience, because no matter what size you are, what shape you are, you have an incredible mind. And you look in computer terms, you have CPUs. Our minds are so incredible that it is unbelievable and one of the true mysteries of the world. So one of the interesting things that we talk about in brain health is serotonin. I'm sure you've all thought about that and heard about them. But it's a kind of happiness and well-being neurotransmitter and hormone. You can alter how much serotonin you have in your body by several things. One is it's a two-way street. It used to be thought that you only can produce happy thoughts when you have serotonin. But now we actually find that you can actually say positive words and you can also increase your serotonin. So it's a two-way street, and that's a fairly recent discovery. The other thing, speaking of bright lights, you can go outside, especially when you're getting up from your slumber, and actually you go outside and you get this bright light. It resets your circadian rhythm, but it also increases your serotonin. Also, you can increase it with exercise as well with diet. Chickpeas or garbanzo beans, bananas, papaya, are all very good foods that actually can increase your serotonin, which is linked to your happiness and well-being. So another interesting point that hasn't been spoken about a lot in medicine, integrative medicine, but I think it should be brought up to everybody's attention, is meditation. This is actually a functional MRI that now we're actually able to not only look at EEGs or electroencephalograms, but also functional MRIs which use the hemoencephalogram as well. And so you can actually see through meditative thought, you're going through from a beta cellular response, wavelength response, which you guys are probably all having right now because you're concentrating, into more of a relaxed alpha state through meditation. And that's one of the things that this is showing. So that actually can produce less anxiety. You can actually increase your creativity. You can actually have better focus. You can have more compassion. And one quick element I'm going to say as a practical concept here is that you can do a 2-minute meditation a day and actually accomplish some of these. And most of the experts in meditation will say, go to 10 minutes if you can. But it's a really important aspect of balancing your life in a very short period of time. Try this someday, or when you're actually feeling like you're a little anxious, you came home from a tough day's work or a very difficult relationship setting or whatever you had, and try just doing this. Try to go through 4 things. Compassion, it's kind of these thoughts. Compassion, innate harmony, healing presence, and unconditional love. Try to think about those 4 things We can go over those again after the talk. But those are really important because you'll actually feel yourself starting to relax. Another great thing to do prior to when you go to sleep. So it also increases your memory and lessens your stress. The brain is amazing, right? I mean, you have all these 4 primary different wavelengths that are constantly going on. Again, I was just talking about beta. Alpha is more of a relaxed state. Again, more in the sleep, stage 1 sleep. And then you get into theta, and then you're finally into delta, which is your deep sleep. One interesting thing about this lecture, and this is one of the things I was going to conclude with, is the fact that you have control of your brains much more than you actually ever think. It's called neuroplasticity. Your brain will react, respond, change, depending on what you do with it. If you have positive thoughts, it will start changing that. If you have a lot of exercise in specific repetitive motion, like a golf swing or something, if the more you do it, the easier it'll get for most. And so there's a sequencing of pathways, changes constantly through all those neurotransmitters that we were talking about, the quadrillion neurotransmitters. So there's, practice makes perfect, and also if you don't use it, you lose it. Especially when we're talking to elderly people, you got to constantly work your mind, whether it be playing bridge and or conversations with your children or conversations with other people. Constantly try to continue to work your brain because your brain can change. Albert Einstein, who was the father of physics, basically, there was a little bit of a myth, when you only use 10% of your brain. We're actually using probably more than 95 or 100% of our brains. That was a little bit of a misquote, a myth. But it also, one of the great things about putting this slide up there, it reminds me that the fact that matter isn't created or destroyed. It's only changes its form, apparently. And that's what Albert Einstein also said. So the phenotypic expression is kind of going towards the conclusion of my talk, is that you do have control of what you can do with your mind and, in essence, with your body. Positive things and negative things. The food additives and preservatives are one of the negative things we're starting to see. That's why we're starting to eat more organic. We're trying to look and see if we have any pesticides or antibiotics or growth hormones going into our meats and our dairy and different things. Really, really important because we have 30,000 more chemicals than our grandparents had. So it's really important to start looking at that. Environmental toxins, what you are using to clean your homes with. Some of them have an extreme amount of toxicity. And finally, the pesticides, herbicides, and different things that you'll actually see in your cleaning agents as well as your food. But some positive things can be things such as sleep hygiene. Going to bed at the right time, waking up with your nice circadian rhythm, you heal while you sleep, good nutrition, good exercise, and finally, good brain hygiene, right? And so we're going back into the final portions of my little talk here is, can the mind selectively create and transmit messages or photons of energy? I think it's possible. This is a really interesting concept. What state of consciousness or subconscious does a person need to be in to create these messages? Do you have to be in an alpha, beta, theta, or delta? Can these photons be received by another individual? Do you have to have like a system similar to what we had with insulin and insulin receptors in our systems to create sugar deposition and fat storage? Very, very interesting. And can we alter neurochemical and ultimately the neurophysiological process to enhance our health and well-being? So these are all really, really good things to think about. I'm hitting the tops of the moguls as you're going down the ski slope here, I know. But really good things to think about and realize how powerful your brains are. And never underestimate them. You have a lot of CPUs. You can change yourself. You can change your environment. You can change your phenotypic expression by losing weight if you need to. You have the power to do that. And once we change ourselves, as Gandhi says, you can change the world. Thank you very much.